You are audible. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks. Thanks very much. So hello, everyone, and welcome to virtual Ras Al Khaimah. I'm sorry that we have to do a destination training like this. However, I'm sure you'll enjoy it because it's not very textual. It's just very pictorial, and we've got some videos to show you. Let's hope that you enjoy the presentation. So I'd like to start my presentation by showcasing the destination video to you all. It's won several marketing awards over the last few years. And I must also tell you here that we were also recognized as the Gulf Tourism Capital 2020. This was awarded to us for this year, and we're very proud of it. So here, please enjoy the video, and then we go onward to the rest of the presentation. So that was the destination video, and as you must have noticed that the way all our activities actually are revolving around the natural assets that we have. We'll talk a little bit more about it as we go through the presentation. The destination map of the UAE, these are the 7 Emirates with Abu Dhabi right down south, followed by Dubai, Sharjah, Fujairah, Ajman, Al Quwain, and right on top is Ras Al Khaimah. Ras Al Khaimah actually is an Arabic word which means top of the tent. You can understand why, because we are the northernmost emirate right on top as well. Um, just to tell you, Ras Al Khaimah is actually the fourth largest emirate in the UAE after Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Sharjah. And we have a population of almost about 400,000 people, which includes, of course, the local Emiratis, as well as the expat community that lives here. So, we're really a very, very small and a boutique emirate when you compare it with the others like Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And therefore, our destination offerings are also very, very different as compared to Dubai and the other Emirates. To tell you a little bit about where we are, we are just about 45 minutes away from Dubai International Airport. So how do you get to Ras Al Khaimah is that once you get into Dubai International Airport, you either book a taxi or you take a car. It's just 45 minutes by road. And from Sharjah Airport, actually, it is 35 minutes by road. To also let you know here, we also have our own international airport, which is the RAK International Airport. However, the only flights that we don't have any flights coming in from South Africa. There are very few flights coming into Ras Al Khaimah Airport. Primarily, these are charters which are coming from Russia and East Europe. So the best way actually to fly in to Ras Al Khaimah is through Dubai on Emirates or any of the other airlines, South African Airways, etc., etc. Sometimes it's actually faster to get to Ras Al Khaimah than it is to move within Dubai, keeping in mind the traffic constraints and snarls in Dubai. So really, in terms of accessibility, we are a very, very accessible emirate. As I mentioned, all our activities revolve around these natural assets. As you must have seen in the video, we have the mountains. We are actually the only emirate that's blessed with the mountains, pretty unheard of and unique for the UAE. We also have 64 kilometers of coastline, and therefore we have some fantastic beaches, natural beaches and beach resorts. Of course, we are in the desert, so we have some good desert products as well. And we'll talk a little bit more about desert and how different it is again from the other emirates as we go through the slides. We also have the hot springs, the natural hot springs, which can be used for, which are used for therapeutic purposes in the Khat area. And we are also blessed with the mangroves. So there are certain activities that one can do in the mangroves as well. Unlike the other emirates, all our activities are around these assets, like I've mentioned before. So we do not have any man-made attractions. So there are no enclosed spaces. These are all outdoors. And therefore, we have become the adventure emirate of the UAE. So we're also a family destination, a family-friendly leisure destination combined with some soft adventures. And you'll see what are the things that we have to offer as we go through in the slides. So climate, we are a sun, sand, beach, of course, and a mountain destination. The best time to visit is between October and May. At the moment, the temperature right now, we're in June, the temperature at the moment is about 39 degrees centigrade here. And as you go up to the mountains, it's 10 degrees cooler. So people actually from Europe and from other parts of the world come to Ras Al Khaimah because they really enjoy the weather here. In the evenings, it's even more pleasant. at this point, the temperatures drop down to about 30, 31 degrees. So really not very, very hot. It does get hot in the months of July and August and part of September, but we're still not as hot as the other Emirates, and therefore, it makes it easier for people to come to the destination. I'll just show you a couple of slides on the numbers. So just to let you know, and just 2 slides, so it's not boring for you. Financial year 2019, we welcomed 1.11 million tourists into the destination, with a growth of almost 3.6% in terms of guest nights. And the next slide will actually tell you about our top 10 international source markets. Russia was number 1, followed by India, number 2, Germany, UK, Kazakh, Egypt, East Europe, Nordics, etc. From 2016 till 2018, Germany was our number 1 market, followed by Russia and UK, India. However, Russia has actually taken over, and it's our number 1 source market at the moment. So you can really see that we have a lot of visitors coming from the European destinations, and that makes it a very, very, what should I say, a heterogeneous destination, so to speak. We have tourists coming from all over. You can see even Oman. So we do have people coming from the Middle East, from Saudi Arabia as well into the destination. And therefore, it makes it an all-rounded destination for all kinds of markets. And of course, South Africa, we do have people coming in from South Africa as well, but the numbers are very, very small. And therefore, we would like to reach out to you in order for you to promote Ras Al Khaimah as well. Some of you have been to Iraq before in the last couple of years. Some of you possibly even came this year in February with the Thompson Holidays and Excel Travel. And we hope that a lot more of you can visit, come to the destination, and also promote it, so that we can see more numbers coming in from South Africa as well. So to tell you a little bit about the accommodation, this is the iconic property, the Waldorf Astoria. It's the luxury brand of the Hilton. It's the first Waldorf that was built in the UAE. It's very, very majestic. It has about 343 rooms. All rooms either face the Alhambra Golf Course or they face the sea. So it's really a very, very beautiful property to live in, luxury, like I mentioned. The other luxury brand that we have in the destination is the Ritz-Carlton. We have 2 Ritz-Carlton properties. One is the Ritz-Carlton Alhambra Beach, which is 32 chalets. It's very, very Maldivian in style, actually. It's very, very pretty. And the other one is the Ritz-Carlton Al Wadi Desert property, which is 101 villas with attached pools as well. It's spread over 500 hectares of land, and it's really a very, very nice property for the niche high-end client. Apart from that, we do have other properties. We have 5-star hotels at 4-star pricing. So that's actually affordable luxury. We have hotels, not just 5-star, but even 3- and 4-star properties in Ras Al Khaimah. At the moment, the total number of rooms in the destination is about 6,700 rooms. And by the end of 2025, we will have about 20,000 rooms in the destination, and you'll see that in the next couple of slides. Which are the new brands that are to come in, that are being built in Ras Al Khaimah. So, like I mentioned, we're a very small boutique emirate. And therefore we get sold out quite quickly, especially over weekends, because we have the the UAE residents driving up from Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and other Emirates to Ras Al Khaimah to enjoy the weekends in RAK, because the products that we have in Ras Al Khaimah are leisure, and therefore people come to the destination to just unwind. The Long Beach campground is actually a very unique concept. It's a very unique product that we have. This particular campground is in the Bin Majid Beach Hotel, which is basically a 4-star property. It has, as you can see, it's, there is a beach and there is, of course, the sea. The Bin Majid Beach Hotel by itself is a hotel property, 4-star. However, the uniqueness of this property, of this particular campground, is that since 2018 in November, they built, or they pitched these tents on the beach because they have a wide expanse of garden and the beach. There were 94 of these tents, and there are 3 categories. The pyramidical ones are the deluxe tents, which are the standard ones. And then on the left, you have the safari tents, and then you have the dome tents. These were basically built just so that people could step out of a hotel room and possibly book themselves to stay overnight and camp on the beach. Now, these also have attached, the safari and the dome tents also have attached baths. What's unique as well about this particular campground is that it has a floating cinema with popcorn. So overnight, there are movies being played. There's a bonfire by the beach. There's a barbecue dinner. There's a whole lot of water sport activities, things for children to do, a mini zoo, pottery making classes, etc., etc. The other thing about this campground is that it is only available in the winter months, which means from October, November, all the way up to April. And for the years 2018 and 19, this was only available during the weekends. However, possibly this year, this will also be available during weekdays. So again, a very, very unique product that we have on offer. It's something very, very different. And I think for someone who's looking for something a little more experiential, this is definitely a product that you could possibly promote to your clients. So some of you I know are familiar with Al Marjan Island. The only man-made island in the entire destination is the Marjan Island. Some of you have possibly stayed there during your recent trip to the Doubletree by Hilton Marjan Island. So this particular island already has a few hotels, like the Doubletree Marjan Resort, the Rixos Bubble Bahar, which is an ultra-inclusive concept hotel, and the Marjan Island Resort and Spa, managed by the Accor Group. There's a lot more to come on this island. There's a lot of construction going on here, a lot of recreational activities, bars, eating joints, etc., all coming up at the Marjan Island. And just to tell you, the hotels that we have in the destination have all meal plans, ranging from bed and breakfast all the way up to all-inclusive. And of course, properties like the Rixos are ultra-inclusive. That means that you book your package and then you just forget your wallet. You do not have to pay anything additional except for spa and the water sport activities. So again, this particular island, and you will see in the next slides as well, some of the properties that are going to be coming up on this island. Marjan Island is actually one end of Ras Al Khaimah. And from Marjan Island to drive to the city takes about 30 minutes, all of 30 minutes to get to the city. So it's really very, very convenient because we do not have traffic snarls. It's very convenient to get from one end of Ras Al Khaimah to the city. And if you have to drive up to the mountains from Marjan Island, it just takes about an hour, 10 minutes by car, and possibly an hour and 20 or 25 minutes by bus. And I'm sure some of you have already been up to the mountains when you visited to do the zip line earlier on this year. The Hyatt Island is another island between Marjan Island and the city. There's already a hotel right now in the Mina Al Arab area of the Hyatt Island, which is basically again a 4-star property. The Jannah Hotels. It's an apartment style concept property. And they also have villas which are on the beach, and some of them have attached pools. Apart from this particular property, the other properties that are coming up are, one of them is the Anantara, which is going to be again, it's a luxury property, of course. It's going to have pool villas, water pool villas, and we're also going to come up with the Intercontinental in the Hyatt Island. And again, this is going to be on the beach. There's going to be a lot of other recreational things to do as well on this particular island. So in the next couple of years, this will also be buzzing with a lot more activity as well. So these are some of the upcoming hotels in the next few years. As you can see, we have a Radisson that's coming up on the Marjan Island, the Hampton by Hilton. The Hampton is basically a 3.5 star brand of the Hiltons. This one is going to be a beach property. So it's going to be close to or next to the DoubleTree by Hilton Marjan Island. So again, it's a great product. It should be opening by the end of this year. Of course, I mentioned the Intercontinental, and some of the other brands that we have are the Conrad, the Marriott. The Marriott's going to come up in the city, and the Address, the Movenpick. The Movenpick as well is also being built on the Marjan Island. So these are some of the upcoming hotels in the next few years in the destination. So we really will have a lot more inventory, and therefore we would really need your support to promote the destination and of course fill up the rooms. Just to tell you a little bit, going to the culture part of the destination, this is the Daya Fort. It's a military fort from the 19th century. It was actually built to ward off the British when they tried, when they invaded possibly the whole world. They even came to Ras Al Khaimah. So this fort was actually built to keep them away. To get to the fort, it takes 242 steps to climb up. So if you are fit, it would take maybe about 10 to 12, maybe 12 minutes. But for somebody who's not that fit, maybe about 20 to 20 minutes to climb up. But once you get up on the fort, it's a beautiful view of the city and the port of Ras Al Khaimah. And next to the Daya Fort are also some date farms that you can actually see. Apart from the Daya Fort, we also have the Muhammad bin Salim Mosque. This is the largest surviving traditional mosque in the UAE. There's a story behind this mosque, and it goes like this, that in the olden days, when the fishermen went out to sea to fish for their livelihood, they would come back to pray. Of course, they were poor, so they needed a place to pray, and therefore this mosque was built for them to pray. Unfortunately, they could not build something grand with minarets, and therefore this is very unique because this particular mosque does not have the minarets. And therefore it is a story to tell to people because it is unique to the entire UAE. It was built out of coral and stone, and to get into the mosque you need special permission. So this is something, along with of course the Daya Fort and the RAK National Museum, are things that you can plug into possibly a half-day itinerary if somebody is interested in the cultural aspect of the destination. So the Ras Al Khaimah National Museum was home to the ruler till the 1960s, and then was converted into the RAK National Museum. So you'll find a lot of artifacts and a lot of history about Ras Al Khaimah as well in this museum. The Jazeerat Al Hamra is the oldest Emirati coastal village. It actually, there were a lot of fishermen and pearl divers that used to live here. This particular place is now being restored. It is under refurbishment and restoration, and we do at the moment have used this particular venue for some of our MICE activities, like the WTTC Gala dinner was held here. It was a great backdrop. It was a great setting. Once it was done up with 3D mapping and lighting, etc. It was a great venue. So we also have actually had our arts and craft festival in the Jazeerat Al Hamra. So again, this is a nice venue if you're looking at MICE. And the Suwaidi Pearl Farm. So the Suwaidi Pearl Farm is the country's first pearl diving. It's the first cultured pearl farm in the UAE. I'm not sure whether some of you have experienced or have tried out this activity, but it's really a great activity to do. It's a great excursion actually. It talks about the history of pearl diving, how the pearl divers survived, what did they do for their livelihood. So once you get to to what happens is that you take a boat. You pass by, you're on the boat, you pass by the mangroves, you see a lot of flamingos and birds. If you're lucky, you can also see camels swimming in the water until you get to the deck of the pearl farm. And once you get to the deck of the pearl farm, you actually learn about the history of pearl diving, and they also teach you they also show you an oyster opening, and if you're lucky, you can get to take a pearl back home. So I would like to show you a small video. It's a very short video of the Suwaidi Pearl Farm. It should definitely be on your to-do list when you promote it to your clients. So please enjoy.
For over thousands of years, the history of Ras Al Khaimah was linked to the travel of the Greek coming and reporting the situation in the Gulf, speaking out highly about how pearl is perfect and exquisite in comparison with other pearl found around the world. These pearls are so adored for its beauty. Pliny the Elder, in his book History of Nature, spoke highly about it and gave it a description about perfection and exquisition.
In terms of water activities, as you can see, that's the Waldorf Astoria in the background. Of course, we have a dhow cruise. It's the Mystique Dhow Cruise. One can hire it in the evenings. It's a 1 hour, 1 to 1.5 hour cruise, starting from the Alhambra area all the way up to the Marjan Island and back. This particular cruise can also be rented out for small groups of up to about 70 to 80 people. Apart from, of course, the cruise, we have all kinds of motorized water sport activities that you can do, either from the hotels or also from the city, from the Corniche area in the city. So right from fly fish to parasailing, jet ski, all of these things are available in the destination. I mentioned the mangroves as one of the natural assets that we have. This particular excursion, kayaking in the mangroves, is really a very, very therapeutic activity that one can do. It's a great activity. that you can actually do from the Hilton Garden Inn. And of course, apart from the kayaking that you can do in the sea, this is something that you can also do from the mangrove. So a really nice experience that one can offer to your clients. And of course, in terms of aviation, we also have the Sea Wings luxury seaplane. So the Sea Wings luxury seaplane is a 9-seater aircraft which takes off from Dubai from two spots. One is the Jebel Ali and the other one is the Dubai Creek. It flies over all the Emirates and then does a water landing at the Doubletree Hilton Marjan Island Resort and Spa. So this is something that you can also offer to your clients. Now, apart from the fact that it flies from Dubai and comes to Ras Al Khaimah, it also does a flight from Ras Al Khaimah and does an aerial view of the destination as well. A little short of the mountains, and it brings you back. So that's a 20-minute ride, and this is something also that you can offer to your clients. And apart from the Sea Wings, we also have the Jazeera Aviation Club. So for those of you whose clients also have maybe a private pilot's license, you can actually go up, take a microlight and go up and explore Ras Al Khaimah, get an aerial view, see the Turtle Beach, the Flamingo Beach, the turtles, the blue waters of Ras Al Khaimah. So really a very, very nice, and it costs a little less than $100 US dollars actually. So really not very expensive to go up. Of course, if you do not have a license, there are pilots that take you up on this flight as well. So this is again something that you can offer to your clients. Coming to the desert experiences, of course, you know, we do offer the desert safari and the barbecue dinner along with the whole lot of activities that you can do in the desert. And of course, some of you possibly already know because we did do a gala one of the evenings for the Thompson Holidays. And the Excel Travel Group in the desert. You possibly are already aware that the desert, the color of the sand in Ras Al Khaimah is actually terracotta. It's a little orangish red. As you're driving from Abu Dhabi to Dubai, the color of the sand is a pale yellow. And as you keep driving up, the color of the sand changes. And when you get to Ras Al Khaimah, it's almost orange-red with quite a bit of greenery around. So really quite different in terms of, you know, the feel of being the feeling of being in the desert. We have 3 desert camps. One is the Basata Desert Village, which is the largest camp in Ras Al Khaimah. Mind you, all of our desert camps are within the city of Ras Al Khaimah. They're within Ras Al Khaimah. So you really don't have to drive for about 40 or 45 minutes out to get to a desert camp. They are in RAK. So it's easy. It takes about 12 to 15 minutes to get to the desert. So like I mentioned, the Basata Desert Village is the largest one. It can take up to about 800 to 1,000 people. It's also it's also been a venue for big events, including wedding, you know, especially Indian weddings, the Sangeet part of the Indian weddings, or for that matter, any kind of celebrations one can do, you know, an Arabian Nights theme at the Basata village. So there's a lot of space available here for that. Apart from the Basata village, we have the Bedouin Oasis. I know that some of you have been here. This particular camp is it's a smaller camp. It's more boutique in nature. At the back, you can see there are some tents. These tents you can book overnight and stay as well. Of course, while I did mention earlier, the Ritz-Carlton Al Wadi is the luxury property in the desert. If you're looking for something a little more rustic and a little more affordable, this particular camp can be booked for an overnight stay as well. So right from shisha, tanura dance, belly dancing, the barbecue dinner, fire show, everything is available in this particular camp as well. And the last one that we have is the dunes glamping. As you can see, we have tree houses in the middle of the desert. So this particular product is also available. We have tree houses and also igloo tents in the desert at the dunes camp that one can use as a product to offer overnight if your clients are looking for something a little more experiential. So these are some of the things that actually set us apart from our fellow Emirates. And I must add here that while we're not in Ras Al Khaimah, we have we have the desert, we do the desert safari, and we have similar things. We're not competing with any of the other Emirates. We actually complement and complete them. Our products are very, very different. What we have on offer is very unique, and you will not find these in the other Emirates, so to speak. And therefore, I reiterate that we complement the other Emirates, and we're not competing in terms of product offerings with any of them. We also have the nature reserve Al Wadi. So there's a lot of animals that you will find here. You can do things like, you can watch the falcon show. I know some of you have seen it. You can also do things like archery, watch the owl show as well. The RAK Equestrian and Adventure Club, so you can do horse riding in the desert. And so those are some of the desert activities that you can do. And now coming to the golf clubs, we have two golf courses. One is the Tower Links Golf Club. You can see the backdrop, the Hajar Mountains at the back. This is an 18-hole golf course. It's in the city. And the other one is the Alhambra Golf Club. As I mentioned earlier, the Waldorf Astoria overlooks the Alhambra Golf Club. So this is the golf club that it overlooks. And on the left, you can see that there is some, there are some buildings, there are villas. Basically, it's the Alhambra village and residences. It's an accommodation, 4-star accommodation, very, very close to the Waldorf. And this is again something that you can offer to your clients. Coming to the mountain activities, the Jebel Jez. So this is basically our USP. It's the highest peak in the UAE at 1,934 meters above sea level. And as I mentioned earlier, it's 10 degrees cooler up on the Jez. A lot of our offerings now that we are an adventure capital of the UAE, most of our offerings are now centered around the mountains, because that sets us apart from the other Emirates. So these are some of the things that you can do. Things like hiking. We have really nice hiking trails. You can do canyoning, so water pools in the Wadi Shoka. So while you can, you climb and you hike, you can also swim. You can also be one with the Bedouin, with the tribes, the mountain tribes. They're happy to spend time with you, offer you some tea. You can camp overnight in the mountains of the Wadi Shoka as well. So a really, really great experience that one can do here in terms of canyoning. Climbing. Biking, we have some nice biking tracks. So this is something that one can do as well. Or if you don't want to do any of those activities and you just want to go up and enjoy the view, you can just, enjoy a picnic, pack a hamper, go up and enjoy, a picnic, a sunset picnic, or a brunch, or whatever you'd like. This is the viewing deck park. This was built in 2018. Early of 2019. And one can actually do small events up here as well. So it's a really nice spot that one can just go and hang out at. The Jazz Sky Maze. So whilst we do have the mountains and we have activities which, like the zip line, which are for adults, the Jazz Sky Maze is something that one can do for the family, including children. You know, it's a really nice, you're up in the mountains and you can climb, you can cycle up. So really, really interesting experiences for children as well to do. And of course, the Jebel Jazz flight. It's the longest zip line in the world, and this is it should be on the bucket list for your clients when you're promoting. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records, and it's at 2.83 kilometers of length. I'm sure some of you have already done this. It's a great experience. And it should be on your bucket list. I would like to show you a video on the Jebel Jazz flight for those of you who don't know about it. You need to be between 40 kgs and 135 kilos to do the zip line. The heavier you are, the better it is. If you're not that heavy, they will still put weight on you so that you don't flap. You go in Superman position and land on a glass bottom suspended platform. So it's a really nice adrenaline rush. Great experience, completely safe. So please enjoy the video. I loved it. I've done it a few times. I'm sure some of you have, and I'm sure you've gone back with good experiences of the Jebel Jazz flight. So enjoy it. So that was the Jebel Jazz flight, and I'm sure a lot of you enjoyed doing it. And for those who haven't, you must do it. What we also launched was the Jazz Sky Tour. This is basically 7 zip lines. So if you don't want to do the one longest zip line in the world, you can do the 7 zip lines spread over 5 kilometers. So you go from from cliff to cliff doing these zip lines. So again, this is something that you can offer to your clients. And whilst we have all of these activities, we said there needs to be a way to get up to the mountains. Not everybody wants to drive or book a taxi or book a private car. So we introduced a Jebel Jazz shuttle bus. This is basically a 30-seater shuttle bus which picks you up from various points in Ras Al Khaimah, including your hotels. You can book this online. It costs 20 dirhams one way. So for a round trip, it's 40 dirhams. And you can go all the way up to the mountain. So whether you want to do an activity or not, or you just want to go up for a ride up to the mountains, it should be your mode of transport if you don't want to spend much. The Jebel Jazz Tour. So this is a very convenient way to go experience the mountains, the mountain activities, and come back. So this shuttle bus has several timings through the day. So you can get dropped off, you book it online, you get dropped off, and then it picks you up and brings you back as well. Some of the future projects that we have in store. The Bear Grylls Survival Camp, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about Bear Grylls. Bear Grylls basically is something that the survival camp is something that we signed up last year during during ATM. And we want to bring, because we have the mountains and we are an adventure destination, we decided to tie up with Bear Grylls and launch the survival camp. It's basically going to talk about and train you on survival strategies and techniques up in the mountains. The courses will be a half-day course, a one-day course, and a two-day course. This particular product will be launched by September 2020, and we're eagerly waiting for it to start. I'm sure it's going to be a real hit once this opens up as well. And apart from this, whilst we do have accommodation in the city, on the beach, in the desert, we said, we have the mountains. We do not have anything up in the mountains in terms of accommodation. So the Jebel Jayz Mountain Lodge is something that we are building now up on the Jayz. So this is something that will be ready in the next year and a half. It's underway right now, a bit delayed now because of course, the pandemic, but this should be ready, I think, by end of 2021 or beginning of 2022. It will have, I think, about 40 or 42 tents, and it's going to be a great product because it will have a lot of wellness associated to this as well. Coming to mice, just to touch upon, we've really picked up on mice in the last couple of years. We've done a lot of international conferences. We hosted the World Travel Tourism Council last year. We've done the AHIC, the Arabian Investors Conference. We've done actually a whole lot of conferences, conventions, etc. in the destination. We've really picked up as a wedding destination, as a social events destination, and we have a product for it. So while some of our hotels do have the ballroom, and they are equipped with the conference centers and business center facilities, we decided also to build the Alhambra International Exhibition and Conference Center. Now, this is just a 2-minute walk actually from the Waldorf Astoria. You can see it's on the beach, and it's a great venue. We've done some great events here. It can be divided into 3. And it's, we were actually supposed to host a lot of events this year as well, but now these have been pushed over to the end of 2020 and beginning of and next year now because of course the pandemic. But this is again a great venue for holding an exhibition or a conference. And I'd quickly like to show you a short video on this before we and then we just have a couple of slides and then we wrap up the presentation. This particular conference center is again the first of its kind in the entire region. So that makes us very unique as well. It's definitely a venue that one can use for holding events and conferences. So for those of you who are dabbling with mice, do reach out to us if you have any requirements for a convention or a conference. What we also launched in 2017 was the Ali e-learning program, which is the RAK Travel Master, www.raktravelmaster.com. It's a really very simple e-learning program. It just takes about 40 minutes to actually complete it, to do it and complete it. There are 3 simple modules, and there are just a few questions after every module. And once you complete every module and you finish the entire course, you get a certificate that makes you a RAK Travel Master. On and off, we do have special offers on the RAK Travel Master from hotels and destination offerings as well. So again, it's a great great tool for you to showcase, you know, to yourselves and to people around that you are a certified RAK Travel Master expert. We also launched the Visit Ras Al Khaimah mobile app. So this is something that you can download and get all the information about Ras Al Khaimah as a destination on your mobile. And these are basically all the information. This slide will talk about all the information that you can get, including our social media handles. So I encourage all of you to follow us on Insta, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, as well as on YouTube. So again, you know, please follow us. We have some really nice videos, some great images, etc., that we keep posting on our social media handles. It would be really encouraging if you follow us as well, and you know, post onward to your on your handles as well. I'd just like to touch upon the last slide, actually, the USPs of the destination. Quickly, just to run through, there are no separate UAE visas required. We get asked this question many times. Do you need a separate visa for Ras Al Khaimah? No, you do not. It's the same UAE visa. So once you enter from, be it Abu Dhabi, Dubai, or Sharjah, or even Ras Al Khaimah, you do not need additional visa to come to RAK. Apart from this, of course, I mentioned we're only 35 minutes drive from Sharjah Airport and 45 to 50 minutes from Dubai Airport. It's very easy to commute within Ras Al Khaimah because we're an open emirate, actually. We're quite spread out. We do not attract too much of traffic. Therefore, we're not very concrete. We're not bling with too many buildings, and therefore it's easy to commute from one end to the other end. Of course, it's an experiential destination. It's naturally landscaped and therefore unique and different. We have the largest mountain peak, the highest mountain peak in the UAE, and therefore we are actually the coolest of all in terms of weather as well, the coolest of all the Emirates. We have some great resorts, hotels, 3-star to 5-star and luxury. And we call ourselves affordable luxury because whilst we do have luxury properties of 5-star beach properties, we also have 4-star and 3-star properties that you can find on the beach as well. So that makes us a different and you know, affordable as well. We're more competitively priced. We are actually the most liberal of all Emirates. And what do you mean by liberal? So for starters, during Ramadan, it's business as usual for us. We're actually the most liberal. Alcohol is not a problem. It's easily available. We have a lot of liquor stores and wine cellars throughout the destination. So it's easy to buy. It's easy to consume. Even during Ramadan, it's business as usual, like I mentioned. So liquor is available. It is served in the bars and in the restaurants and in the hotels. So therefore, we become the most liberal of all Emirates. Also, the local community in Ras Al Khaimah is very, very friendly. Do not be intimidated if you come across them. They're happy, they're very proud of their culture, and they're happy to talk about and tell you stories about their history. So please reach out to them. You'll find them in coffee shops, in malls, in restaurants. Don't be intimidated by them. They're very forthcoming, and they're very proud, like I mentioned, of their culture, and they're happy to share stories and talk to you as well. So that's what makes us liberal as well. I mentioned it's business as usual during Ramadan. And last but not the least, again, I'm reiterating that we complement and do not compete with the other Emirates, because our destination offerings are very, very different. I haven't touched upon shopping malls and bars and nightclubs, only because we have 6 shopping malls. We have souks in the destination as well. We also have bars and nightclubs. However, that's not our priority, because we feel that if you want to do high-end shopping or luxury shopping, you get better variety in Dubai. Therefore, we do not want to replicate the same things that Dubai has. So whilst we do have malls, and they're standard malls with regular brands, we do not want to build another luxury mall like a Mall of Emirates or the Dubai Mall, because it's only replicating. We want to be unique. And therefore we say that, for shopping or nightlife, it's better nightlife. You will get more variety in Dubai. So therefore, do those things when you come to the destination, when you come to the UAE. Combine your a Dubai and Ras Al Khaimah package. Spend a few nights in Dubai, spend a few nights in Ras Al Khaimah, so that you can offer different products to your clients, and therefore they get a whole experience of the UAE, which is more urban city, which they will find in of course Dubai, and then come to Ras Al Khaimah to enjoy the more natural environs and some of the adventure activities of the destination. So with that, I'd like to wrap up, and I'm open to any questions.
Thanks, Navreet. I think you covered absolutely everything there. It was fantastic. It was really informative. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions. Okay, let me just open the chat box. Yes, I will be emailing the presentation to Angela, and then Angela, you can forward it to everybody as well. I will also be forwarding some of the videos. I will be forwarding some more. I'll share a link with the destination presentation and some videos that you can forward to everybody, so that they have all the information. And I'm happy to share any other, or to answer any other queries if you may have in the future. I do normally reply within 24 hours, if not earlier. I do try, so you can definitely reach out to me. Yeah, so I think basically it's all about emailing the presentation. I will definitely email the presentation to you.
Thank you very much, Navreet. Keep well, and we'll upload it onto YouTube as well. Thank you.
Thanks very much. You have a good day. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.